Welcome. We're on the red couch with Robyn Marin, owner of SRQ Yoga Studio in Sarasota, Florida. Originally a Californian, Robyn spent her 20s working out at Jane Fonda's club in LA and her 30s doing Tae Bo kickboxing at Billy Blank's studio in Sherman Oaks, California. A self-proclaimed faster, harder, better girl, Robyn's life changed when she was introduced to a whole human workout called yoga. She studied with yoga expert Shiva Rea and opened her own yoga studio in California before relocating to the Sunshine State. Thanks to her yoga practice, Robyn not only healed herself from a 10-year battle with rheumatoid arthritis, but also she has been happy and virtually stress-free even throughout her cross-country move with her husband and 3 sons. Robyn, I am thrilled to have you on the red couch.
Thanks, Rachel. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, I want to know a little bit about that harder, faster, better girl.
It's actually faster, harder, better.
Oh, pardon me.
Faster, harder, better. I wanted to be in tip-top shape. And not only did I want to be faster on the treadmill or faster in whatever I was doing, and better and harder than everybody else, I wanted to be faster, better, and harder than I had done previous myself. So I was always after the next best workout. I was never satisfied. I was just kind of a glutton. I just wanted faster, harder, better. I just wanted to go, 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 and do. And basically, that's what I was after.
I mean, working out in Jane Fonda's studio, the real Jane Fonda.
Yeah. Leg warmers.
Yeah. You wore leg warmers? Yeah. Nice. And those are like huge trends, but they're also like very competitive.
Yeah.
So you were competitive not just with the other people, but also with yourself.
Well, yeah. I've always liked to move through space. When I was a little girl, I was in tap, jazz, aerobics, ballet, and I always liked to move my body through space. I was never an athlete, so to speak, but I was always hanging from trees. My mother was always have to call me in from outdoors. So I like to move through space. I like to sweat. I like to have my heart beat. I like to feel alive.
Yeah.
So the workouts that I was after really made me feel alive, and I actually liked kind of gasping for air. I felt happy when I was kind of dripping and sweaty. I felt like I was doing something.
Yeah. And now you had 3 little boys when you first were diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis?
I had a 9-month-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-year-old, 3 sons.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what happens to you? Like, what happens to your body when you have rheumatoid arthritis?
Rheumatoid arthritis affects your joints, all of your joints, and it affects the synovial fluid between your joints. It basically thinks that the synovial fluid between your joints is bad, so it attacks it. So your joints become very inflamed, hot. It actually feels like broken bones.
Wow.
In fact, the first night that I thought or felt anything that was wrong, I felt like I had bumped my elbow. And I was making dinner, and I really felt like I had bruised my elbow, and I kept saying to my husband, "What's over here? Do I have a big bruise over here?" He said, "No, honey, you're fine." I said, "Well, my arm really hurts." Well, at the end of the evening, my arm was just frozen. And you're a mother, you know you don't rush off to the doctor the first sign of something that's wrong with you. So I didn't ignore it, but I didn't rush off to the doctor until a couple weeks later when the pain jumped from here to here. So it went from one elbow to the next elbow, and I thought, okay, something's really wrong here. So I went off to the doctor. And after a couple of blood tests and other tests, the doctor said, it looks like you have rheumatoid arthritis. And I said, well, rheumatoid arthritis, isn't that like what old people have? He said, well, you only really see it in old people because you see the symptoms and the ravages of time. You see, they're bent over, their spines are all craggy, their hands are frozen, their knuckles are huge. He said, but most people, and it's usually women, get it in their early 30s. And you don't know that anybody has it because time hasn't, passed. You can't see the damage. So they treated me for that, and I was on like a cocktail of medications for almost 10 years until I found yoga. And
wow.
I didn't make the connection between being healed and yoga until like a couple years after. It's kind of embarrassing, really, now that I look back on it. I mean, 2020 is hindsight.
Right, sure.
But it was a slow, long process. I think the process to acquire something like rheumatoid arthritis, it took probably just as long, or maybe not as long, to kind of back out of my body as it did for my body to be like perfectly ripe in its environment for rheumatoid arthritis to kind of jump into my being. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, people who just have a baby, they want to lose weight right away.
Right.
And you know, it took 9 months for you to gain the weight and to have the baby. It's going to take you at least 9 months to return to your normal self. So there's this period of going forward and this period of going back. So it wasn't like a flip switched and I didn't have it anymore. It was so subtle that it took me a couple of years to realize, oh, I bet that's what happened.
Well, what's remarkable to me is that, you know, most people that have rheumatoid arthritis, it doesn't necessarily occur to them that they're ever going to get rid of it.
Well, no, and people and doctors out there say that it's impossible. You can't get rid of it. So I don't really listen to that. All I know is I don't have it anymore. You know, I had 2 other related conditions that were both autoimmune conditions, which I don't have anymore. And so, you know, I'm kind of the poster child that this is what can happen if you live your life in a certain way. Not that I would ever walk up to anybody and say, hey, you have rheumatoid arthritis, do yoga and it'll be gone. I would never have that kind of answer for someone. I would say, let's talk about your life. Let's talk about your stress. How are you dealing with your stress?
Yeah.
And let's get you moving. What happens with rheumatoid arthritis is it is basically, you know, a stop sign right in your face. You will stop moving. And when you stop moving an arm or a leg, you tend to panic. Like, oh, is this how I'm going to be for the rest of my life?
Right.
And people will take one part of their life, something that they can't do. Let's say you can't move your arm, but you can move the rest of your body. You can do a lot of things. People tend to magnify and amplify the list of the things that they can't do, rather than look at the list of the things that they can do, because frankly, the list of the things that you can do is so long you get bored. You're like, oh, I can do that, and I can do that, I can do that, but I want to focus on those 3 things, or that one thing that I can't do. So.
But you didn't do that. You focused on the things that you.
I did. I did focus on the things that I could do.
That's what I mean.
If I was in a sling, and sometimes I was in a sling, and sometimes I had symmetrical rheumatoid arthritis, which means it went from here to here, and here to here, and here to here, hip to hip, knee to knee, foot to foot. And sometimes I was on a crutch and I couldn't walk. So what I would do is I would kind of put that part of my body that wasn't working, I put it in like a drawer, and I closed the drawer on it. And I didn't pay any attention to it. In fact, I would be at the gym, you know, grapevining away in, you know, aerobics class in a sling, and people were like, Robyn, what's wrong with your arm? And I go, what? Oh yeah, nothing. It's fine. You know, and if I couldn't move my legs, I would just do weights. So I am kind of a can-do, and my faster, harder, better tendency, I think actually helped me.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Absolutely helped me.
I mean, most people focus on, oh my God, my arm's in a sling. Oh, don't touch it. Oh, guarding it. And you were busy not even realizing or thinking about it.
Well, I did think about it. But when you're the way that I mother and the way that I am with my husband is, I don't want to be the focus of what's wrong with me. So I was a hall walker at night. I had a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I cried and I screamed into my pillow and I stayed up late, and I would wake up and I would get my kids and I would smile, and I basically, you know, I was a good actress.
Yeah.
I was a good actress. But sometimes you believe your lie.
Right.
You know?
Right.
If you say it long enough, you believe it.
Yeah.
So I pretended as if I was fine, and that's my belief system. So even though I was in pain and it was throbbing many times, I didn't let it define me.
Yeah.
It didn't let it define me. I didn't let it rule me.
I love that. Stay tuned for part 2 of this interview on the Red Couch.